Get over here. We're taking her to the bathroom to wash that food out of her hair with cold water. If she sneaks off and eats it later, she's getting off way too easy. Elaine screamed in terror. It's almost winter. If you wash my hair with cold water, you'll kill me. Knock it off, Bridget, who had been watching the scene unfold from the side, said coldly. Keep whining, and it won't just be Mrs. Wilson washing your hair with cold water. I'll give you a full-on cold shower myself. Elaine was so terrified she could only sob as Mrs. Wilson and Wendy dragged her into the bathroom. A moment later, Wendy shoved Elaine's head under the faucet of the utility sink, and without a second thought, cranked the tap on full blast. The icy tap water blasted Elaine's head, making her mind go blank. A biting cold shot through her, making her shiver uncontrollably. She held her soaking head, looking up at a grinning Mrs. Wilson, and begged, "Please, give me a towel. I'm going to freeze to death." Mrs. Wilson sneered. "A towel? You think you deserve a towel? Honestly, if you froze to death, it would be a blessing. You'd be out of your misery, and I'd finally be free of my hatred for you." As she spoke, she looked down at Elaine and said sarcastically, "Or you could just make things easy for everyone. If you die, all our problems are solved." Elaine collapsed onto the floor, wailing. Mrs. Wilson glanced at her in disgust and said to Wendy, "Let the witch cry in here. Let's go." Wendy added with a grin, "You witch! Your good times are just beginning. Right now, we're dealing with you, but once I'm done with you, you old hag, I'll find a way to take care of that little brat, Claire." Meanwhile, Claire had no idea that her own mother was being brutally tormented by her grandma and her cousin. Since her father, Jacob, refused to help look for her mother, she and Charlie decided to split up. One would check the local card rooms, and the other would check the beauty salons. Charlie got the car keys from Jacob and was about to get into his car to check the card rooms. Claire grabbed his arm and asked in a low voice, "Charlie, I have to ask you, what's really going on with Dad and that old classmate of his?" Charlie asked curiously, "What do you want to know, honey?" Claire said, "I want to know what she looks like, what her personality is, her family background, her relationship status, and what her plans are now that she's back in the U.S. Charlie answered honestly, "She's a really beautiful woman, and she has a great personality. She seems very down-to-earth, humble, and incredibly friendly. As for her family situation, her husband passed away, so now it's just her and her son." After a moment, Charlie quickly corrected himself. "Actually, I probably shouldn't say they depend on each other. After all, they're both very successful. I heard they opened a huge law firm that works with the world's top Fortune 500 companies. They've already moved their business back to Eris Hill, and it sounds like they're planning to retire here." "What?" Claire was shocked. "Good-looking, a great personality, and on top of all that, she's a rich widow? Isn't she like the ultimate catch for middle-aged women?" Charlie nodded and said seriously, "She's definitely the ultimate catch. But she doesn't even look middle-aged. She's more like an older sister." Claire asked in surprise, "Are you serious? How old does she look?" Charlie said, "She looks like she's only 37 or 38, 40 at the most." "For real?" Claire's face was full of disbelief. She'd rarely seen a woman who was 50 years old look like she was in her late 30s. Even movie stars don't look that young, right? Charlie said seriously, "I'm not kidding you at all. She looks really young." Claire exclaimed, "That's unbelievable." Charlie smiled calmly and said, "Actually, she's coming over for dinner tonight. You'll see for yourself when you meet her." Claire didn't doubt Charlie's words anymore. She said anxiously, "This woman is Dad's first love. Now she's a widow and has so much going for her. And it just so happens that my dad and Mom's relationship is so rocky right now. To make things worse, my mom is still missing. Isn't this the perfect chance for this woman to swoop in?" Charlie smiled a little sheepishly and said, "Honey, that's not really our business as their kids. After all, our parents have their own freedom. We can only respect their choices, not object to them. Claire suddenly grew anxious. Even though she knew her mom wasn't exactly a perfect person, she was still her mother. How could she just watch her dad leave her? Thinking of this made her even more desperate to find her mother and bring her home. So she quickly said to Charlie, "Oh, it's getting late. Let's split up. You have to do everything you can this afternoon. You need to go to all the game parlors and poker rooms. Take Mom's picture and be thorough. Ask every owner and every customer in there." Charlie said, "I don't have a picture of your mom." For Charlie, he couldn't stand Elaine, so why would he ever keep a photo of her on his phone? "I'll send you the ID photo my mom took a while ago, right now," Claire said hurriedly. After Charlie left the house, he started driving around to all the local card rooms. At each one, he'd take a picture of the front entrance, another of the inside, and send them both to his wife to prove he'd been there. Whenever Claire asked him what he found out, his answer was always the same. The owner said he'd never seen the person, and neither had any of the customers. The truth was, he wasn't actually asking anyone. He just knew that's what they'd say. Claire looked at the steady stream of photos he sent. On one hand, she knew Charlie was really trying to help her find her mother. But on the other hand, with no leads after so long, she felt her anxiety growing with every minute. They say the best time to solve a missing person case is within the first 24 hours. If you can find a clue in that time, there's a much better chance the person will be found. By this point, a full 24 hours had passed since Elaine went missing. Claire was sick with worry, so she was frantically checking the beauty salons and spas Elaine used to visit. She walked into one of the salons, pulled out a picture of her mom, and showed it to the owner. "Hi, excuse me, have you seen this woman?" The owner glanced at the photo and her eyes widened in surprise. "Oh, isn't this Elaine?" Claire's heart leaped. "You know my mother?" The owner smiled warmly. "So you're Elaine's daughter. She used to be a regular here, but I haven't seen her around lately. She always came in with her friends. What's going on? Is she missing?" Claire nodded, her voice tight with anxiety. "Yes. Do you happen to know any of her friends? Maybe you have their contact information?" The owner suddenly snapped her fingers. "Oh, actually, one of Elaine's friends is here right now for a facial. Should I get her for you?" Claire's face flooded with relief. "Yes, please. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it." "You're welcome, of course," the owner said with a small smile. She picked up a walkie-talkie from the counter. "Aria, could you please get Cora? Let her know Elaine's daughter is here and needs to ask her a few questions." A crackled response came back a moment later. "Okay, Cora said she's on her way out." Claire waited anxiously. A few moments later, a heavy-set, wealthy-looking woman emerged from the back, a thick facial mask covering her features. Claire watched the woman approach, hoping for any information about her mother. Cora walked right up to Claire, looking her up and down. "You're Elaine's daughter," Claire quickly answered, trying to be as respectful as possible. "Hello, yes, I'm Elaine's daughter. I was hoping you could help me. Have you seen my mom since yesterday?" "Damn," Cora snorted, her voice dripping with anger. "Someone like your mother? We can't afford to be friends with her." Claire was taken aback. "What do you mean by that? Did my mom have a falling out with you?" Cora curled her lips and said, "Me have a problem with your mother? Please. I just called her yesterday afternoon to see if she wanted to get a facial together, but you won't believe what she said." Claire asked quickly, "What did my mom say?" Cora snapped, "She asked what gave me the nerve to think someone of her status would get a facial with someone like me. She said that people like us just go to some random beauty salon, but she was planning on buying the whole place, just so it could serve her and her alone. She said she's drawing a line between us." After she finished, Cora looked at Claire and demanded, "You tell me, isn't that going way too far? We're all supposed to be friends. I was just being nice, asking her to get facials with me, and she just totally mocked me. She called me poor and said she has more money than I could ever dream of having in my entire life. What's that supposed to mean? Just because she's rich now, she's too good for the rest of us?" If she thinks she's too good for me, fine, then just leave me alone. But why did she have to be so nasty about it? What the hell did I ever do to her? Why would she go out of her way to be so hurtful? It makes me so furious.